My name is Daniel Matthews, and this is all I know. My father was a drifter. I never really knew him well. My mother, a renegade animal trainer. My life never really has been that great. I lived with my Uncle Polly for 4 to 7 years of my life. Those 4 to 7 years were absolutely terrible. My life is no fairy tale. Not like Shrek. You've seen Die Hard, haven't you? There are a few things in life I enjoy, other than grilled cheese and Dennis Quaid movies. I've always been afraid of the wilderness, of the unknown. Then again, there is some kind of comfort in that, and not knowing what comes next. My life feels so repetitive. Nothing ever happens. No excitement. Over and over and over. My name is Daniel Matthews, and this is my life. I have come here to find myself, to conquer my fears, to find a new side of me. Maybe I will never be found. No one will care if I'm not. I need a rebirth. I haven't been paying attention to where I am going, just where I've been, and what Dennis Quaid classic I will watch later on. Then, something happened. My life flashed before my eyes, along with all the grilled cheeses I had eaten. It was all in a daze, and just like that, I was out. I woke later, unsure of the time that had passed or where I was. I was in the company of a wild man. He did not tell me his name, but he mended my wounds and brought me back to good health. He said he would lead me back home, but first he wanted to teach me the ways of the wild, the ways he practiced for many, many years among the trees and animals. I went along with this game, hoping it would bring me back home. What could I do? I was terrified. The first couple of days weren't that bad. He taught me the ways of the wild. He wasn't really that bad once I got to know him. He was kind of messed up, though. He taught me how to hunt. His methods were very unique, but to this day I remember them. So magical, his blows could fall any animal he ran across, or would most likely could run across him. He taught me how to impale things from a distance, using weapons in the forest such as twigs, leaves, and sticks to throw. His skill caught my eye every single time. For a complete loon, he sure knew what he was doing. Every day he would take me to fetch water from the leaves. He'd grab the biggest one he could and yank it out of the ground. Most of the water fell out, but what he got was still pretty impressive. I envied him. He wasn't afraid to act out and joke around a little bit. Every day he brought me to clear paths in the woods. He never really told me why we cleared them, but he was good at it, so I went along with it. His aim was pretty dodgy though, so I tried to stay back. He taught me how to take down big game, like deer and bears, elk. I never actually saw him take down anything quite so big. Bigger than a mere rabbit at the most, but I believed him. And for the most part, I was pretty good at it too. He taught me how to, he tried to teach me how to climb trees, how to get the berries at the top. He was a swell guy, but he had a bit of a temper. whenever I ticked him off, he really could not control it the best he could. We eventually worked past it. It just took some getting used to. A lot of getting used to. When we weren't going on adventures or hunting, we just sat around and hung out. He'd tell me stories about his days in the wild, and I'd tell him about my days back in the city, about my family and my problems. And he listened. He actually listened. He gave me decent advice, but 14 plus years in the wild really corrodes one's brain, and his brain was just very corroded. He took me in as one of his own. All I really needed was a big stick to hit things with, he said. And when we found mine, I knew the first glance that it was made for me. And I instantly grabbed for it. I'd never seen anything more beautiful in my life. It was just part of nature, but it meant a lot more to me. Next, he said I needed something to wear on my head. He said to keep the bugs out, keep the sun from bleaching my hair. How he knew that, I don't know. We were very close, sometimes a little too close, and it was awkward. It surprised me how long it had been since I had last watched a Dennis Quaid movie. Those now seem so boring compared to my new life. So interesting, so full of surprises. I never know what will happen next. Every day we would go for walks, and we would hunt, and we would walk some more, but it never got boring. No, he always had stories to tell about his days in the wild. He was very rooted to the forest, like an asparagus in a large garden. Every day we would clear paths, tend to the old, and then one day we came close to something I had not seen in a very long time. It's funny, that one thing my dad always said, you never find what you're looking for until you're satisfied with what you have. It seemed all too real now. I was in complete awe. After we emerged from the forest, I hardly recognized the things that we saw. I felt changed, different. I came out of those woods with a whole new outlook on life. I no longer need the material things of my past, Dennis Quaid, grilled cheese, and I owe it all to one man, who remains nameless, but I will always remember him. He showed me the ways of nature, how to survive in the wilderness, how to hunt, but most importantly, taught me how to be myself. I am no longer afraid of what will come. Whatever does, I'll be ready to tackle it. He was a loon, and a bit crazy, but he was my friend. And he always will be. My name is Daniel Matthews, and this is my life.